We meet many people in life. Some are meant to stay forever, holding our hands as we journey through life together, while others are just passing through. People meant to be there, but only for a short while. Each person leads us to a lesson we're meant to learn, and beat by beat, the path to that special someone is shaped. In the last episode, I shared how I decided to wait for my future husband and trust God to lead me. After that, I began writing letters and prayers for my future spouse. I remember sitting outside the campus every day after class, just writing and talking to God about my future husband. Looking back, those moments are filled with beautiful memories of growing closer to Jesus. He became my best friend and started guiding me toward my future husband. It was summertime when the young adults at our church got invited by another church to go to a camp. Yes, another camp story. And I thought to myself, well, maybe at this camp, I am gonna meet my future husband and we're gonna have a cute story to tell. I was so excited to continue growing in my relationship with Jesus and getting to know him more and more. But I also would dream about the day that I would meet my future husband. The day arrived and my mom and I joined the group at our church ready to leave. Yes, my mom went as one of the counselors. And it's important to know this detail because she played a significant part in this chapter of my story. When I arrived, the place was lovely, but I remember feeling that familiar social anxiety, despite of being very good at hiding it. This time, though, I was with friends, which helped alleviate the anxiety. The first night after service, there were games for socializing, which was nice. The second night featured games again, but I noticed a girl from our group was being noticed by another guy, and another girl from our group was already talking to a guy from our group. In that moment, I couldn't help but feel a little overlooked. That night, while the others seemed to be asleep, I found myself crying and questioning God's plan. This was only like half a year after I made my decision to wait for my future husband, and I thought that I would meet him sooner rather than later. But this is where my mom's role became crucial. I don't recall if I approached her or if she noticed my tears, but she sat with me like a best friend and listened. I opened up about my doubts concerning God's plan for my love life. Her words truly touched my heart. She assured me that God was preparing someone special for me because I was special. Of course, at first, I brushed it off as typical motherly reassurance. But as she continued talking, I began to believe that indeed God was preparing someone for me and He was going to bring him in the perfect time. I just needed to keep trusting God with my story. The very next night, a guy approached me, seemingly interested in getting to know me. His friends stood by him, mostly smiling but not saying much. He asked me for my phone number and I gave it to him. Considering the Christian context of the camp, it made it safe to do so. Hey, it's how friendships start, and sometimes how we meet our significant other. After the camp, I got a message. To my surprise, it was from the smiling friend, not the one who approached me. It seemed like he was shy, just like me, and asked his friend to talk to me on his behalf. We started chatting and soon we found laughter and depth in our conversations. One day, after many conversations via message, he invited me to lunch to talk in person. Now, I hadn't said this before, but when I decided to wait for my future husband, it's like God started to put some desires in my heart that became my own desires. And one was not to date any guy, but the one who God knew was going to become my husband one day. Now, there's nothing wrong with dating. It just felt like God wanted me to do it this way, and it became my desire as well. I don't know, maybe God wanted me to trust Him that He was going to reveal who was my future husband even before starting to date this person. Immediately, I prayed for guidance, telling God to close this door if this man wasn't meant to be my husband. I don't recall my exact words, but I suggested him to meet at my church to talk in person instead, to which he agreed, showing his genuine interest. I was looking forward to meet him on Friday and talk with him in person after service. However, a few hours before, he messaged me, saying he was held up at work or had just been offered a manager position, meaning more hours, so he was not going to be able to come. Though it was sad and I had built up some expectations, it looked like I hadn't met my future husband yet, and God was answering my prayer, closing this door. Of course, I wrestled with confusion for a few days, but then I realized that God wanted me to keep trusting Him and waiting on Him. So I focused on growing my relationship with God, serving at church, and getting to know Him more. And that's the story of how I met the guy who I thought might be my future husband. But maybe you think, could have been the right guy at the wrong time? Stay tuned for the next episode. Maybe we see him again.